Hello and welcome to another edition of the Silverbird Selection. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a game chosen for me by Zippy2020, and he nominated Biggles, a Silverbird release from 1988. It's a re-release of a game that was originally published in 1986 by Mirrorsoft and is based on a movie of the same name, Biggles, also released in 1986. So this is a pretty rare game to find in this packaging, not so much in the original packaging, but this one is pretty rare to find, and it cost me £5, so one of the more expensive games of the collection. So as I said, this is based on a movie, and I watched that movie recently just to reacquaint myself with it. It is one that I watched when I was a kid, but I've not seen it since. So let's take a look at some footage from the movie.
Bigglesworth. My friends call me Biggles.
Jim Ferguson.
Come on! Hey, what the hell am I doing here? What's going on?
You mean that was 1917?
Time travel is not unknown in history.
Why me?
I think Biggles is your time twin.
You again?
This is getting crazier, you know.
Debbie, stay away. You gotta stay away.
Ferguson.
I told you, I keep going back to 1917. Where'd you come from?
I have no idea.
It's that hole in time. It keeps happening to me.
Apparently, the hole in time goes both ways.
Let's show the sausage guzzler what this thing can do.
So it's a pretty strange movie. It takes W.E. John's literary character from World War I and throws it into an 80s time travel movie. I'm not really sure it particularly works. The acting's a bit cheesy in it, and some of the special effects are not too bad, but overall it's a bit of an odd film. I would only give it like a 5 out of 10 rating or something like that.
Biggles, the adventure begins one step back in time.
If that footage has got you interested in Biggles, then you can watch the whole movie on YouTube. I'll put a link to that in the video description. Let's now see how good a job they did turning that movie into a video game. Let's take a look at the packaging for the game then, but first I want to put up an image of the front cover of the original release of the game from Mirrorsoft, which you can see has got a recreation of the poster for the movie. Pretty nicely done with Biggles front and centre on there, but the guys at Firebird decided they didn't want that for their front cover for their budget release, and instead they did this, which is quite frankly pretty abysmal by comparison. Silverbird packaging, very crude Biggles logo there, and an image of the biplane and a couple of explosions, but yeah, not really a very good representation of the game when you consider it was based on the movie. You would have thought they would have used that to promote it on the packaging. The spine's got that Biggles logo or a version of it as well. Again, quite comic style and not very good in my opinion. And on the back we've got the usual 4 screenshots, which you can see a variety of game modes there. There's a flight simulator style mode, sideways scrolling plane shooter type thing, and a couple of person based stages as well. One that looks like it's in the trenches and one that's on some rooftops. We'll get on to what all those mean in due course. And the blurb about the game says, "Chocks away Ginger, the film brought to your computer." So let's take a look inside the inlay now, and I have to say it's chock full of information. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but you can see it says Biggles, copyright Yellow Bill Services Limited and Mirrorsoft Limited. Biggles is a 2-game program following the adventures of the famous World War I hero created by W.E. Johns, but there's a difference. Our hero now is a time twin living in the 1980s. We're basically just talking about the plot of the film to some extent. So the first game is Time Warp, which is in 3 parts, and then the second game is The Sound Weapon, which finds you at the controls of a police helicopter on the Western Front in 1917. So then there's some loading instructions, and then it goes on for the instructions for the 2 parts of the game. So it's sort of a multi-load game, except you don't really load one stage after the other. You could play them in either order to some extent. So the Time Warp, it's got the controls, it's got the gameplay instructions for the 3 different stages, which we'll go through when the game is loaded. And then it goes on to tell you about the Sound Weapon, which is a much more complex game. That's the flight simulator style game. So it's got the controls there, and then basically 2.5 pages of gameplay instructions, which include what you're supposed to do, how you control the helicopter, details of the instrument panel within the cockpit, the use of different maps, taking and dropping characters and items, and also combating the enemy, I guess you'd say there, and taking enemy territory. So it is quite a strategic sounding sort of game, the second game, and we'll see as much of it as we can during this review. And also it's got some hints at the end there, so yeah, very detailed instructions inside, even though the outside of the packaging is absolutely abysmal. Okay, so the game's loaded, and as you can see it's got quite a nice title screen with the Biggles logo and Biggles himself walking towards the screen, and a couple of biplanes in the background, and a bit of scenery, a nice Mirrorsoft logo as well, and the copyright information at the bottom there. It says designed and programmed by Delali Software, and it's also got a tune in the background which was done by Ben Dalglish, and this is a version of the theme song from the film, which is called Do You Want to Be a Hero? So yeah, pretty nicely done. It's recognisable if you know the song from the film. So that's it for the title screen. There's no other information, there's no high score table or anything like that. The game does record a high score, but you only see it in game when you're playing. So let's get on and play the game, I guess. So the game starts and you begin in a biplane, you're Biggles, and you've got to go and take a photograph of something, some kind of weapon or something. And if you complete that stage, you then go on to the next stage, but there is a twist to that which we'll get to in due course. So it's a horizontally scrolling shoot 'em up style thing. Shoot the biplanes. You can also drop bombs to destroy the things on the ground, the guns. We've got a limited number of bombs, so yeah, just make your way through the stage, and eventually I'll probably get shot, and then we'll see what happens from that point. Going quite well so far, actually. The graphics are pretty nice on this stage. Music's alright as well in the background. It's presumably it might be some music from the film, or perhaps it's just some incidental music that Ben Dalglish decided to come up with. Right, so I've been shot, and what happens then is you get transported through time with a lightning bolt, nicely animated as well. And I'm now in 1986 on the roof, and this is the current day character Jim. Let's say he's the one in yellow. And also Biggles is in green, and you have to switch control between the two of them to get across these rooftops. This is a scene from the movie, only a very short scene in the movie, and a very long protracted level in the context of this game. So yeah, you run across the rooftop and you've got to press fire when you're on the edge of the rooftop to jump, which I'm just trying to get to do. There we go. So then I'm going to take Biggles, let's say that's Biggles, and then you switch control back to the other player, and you've got to then get him across in the same way. Which is easier said than done now, because the policeman seems to be stuck down the bottom there for some reason. Okay, so let's see if we can get him to... No, I'm going to get killed there. And when you get killed, you get transported through time again with another lightning bolt. And I'm now in 1917 in the trenches, and I've got to shoot my way through to do something. I think you're supposed to be getting a code. Well, you're definitely supposed to be getting a code which gives you access to the second half of the game, which is loaded separately off the tape. So yeah, graphics in this stage pretty nice. This is a kind of like Green Beret, I would say, sort of scrolling run and gun type thing. You can drop down into the trenches, you can pick up grenades, you can throw those grenades over this wall, which is quite a handy thing. So let's try that. There we go, got the guy on the other side of the wall. So I've got to try and get up to the top here, make my way along, and yeah, if you finish the biplane level without getting killed, then you end up on this level anyway, I believe. Although that doesn't happen that often because I get killed a lot in this game. So yeah, all in all, quite an ambitious idea, I think. There we go, I got killed, so I'm back to the rooftops again. Let's see how I can get along here. Oh, I'm going to get killed straight away there, annoyingly. So I'm back in the biplane. My bombs have been replenished, so I can drop them again. Nice explosion animations. all in all, oh, I don't know what happened there. Oh, that probably means I've finished that level and it's put me back to the trenches now. Because I certainly didn't get killed then. So let's make my way across the trenches. Well, here's a pillbox that I don't see I'm ever going to get past. And I've now got zapped back to the biplane for some reason, which is odd because I'd already completed that level, so that's a bit strange. I got killed again, and I'm now back at the rooftop. You can see this is a little bit frustrating. Quite a nice idea. The sort of travelling through time aspect is quite nicely done. But yeah, it's a little bit frustrating to be moving from one level to another and not making a great deal of progress. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know how I can jump across this, because as soon as I go to the bottom, the copper follows me. So let's see if he comes back up to the top here. Try and jump across. No, jumped straight into him again and died. So I get sent back to the trenches level. And again, I've got another one of these pillboxes which I've got no idea how I'm supposed to. Let's try throwing a grenade at it from here. Oh, that's actually worked. Oh, but now I've got... Oh no, I didn't get killed by that guy. Okay, well that's progress. Get down the trenches here, get these grenades. It's going okay, this, at the moment. I've got killed a lot less than I have done in previous attempts. But now I've got killed again, and I'm presumably back to the rooftop again. Every time you go back to the rooftop, the policeman that's in your way does disappear. But that doesn't really help because you get killed a lot going through this stage. Jumping across the rooftops is quite tricky to do as well, so see if we can do that here. Yeah, I managed to get across, so it wasn't too bad, but I'm now stuck in this corner. Let's switch to the other guy. No, fallen off the roof, and that's game over. So there we go, that was an overview of the time warp section of the game. Pretty nicely put together, I would say. Nice idea, but a little bit frustrating that you're having to switch between those game modes each time without making too much progress. But I would say that I'm quite impressed that they've managed to recreate 3 scenes from the movie reasonably well and make it somewhat playable. Graphics and sound pretty good as well. But the playability is somewhat lacking. We'll get onto the scores in due course, because now I'm going to load up the second section, which is the sound weapon game, which is more like a flight simulator. So let's load that up and take a look at that. Right then, the second game is loaded off the tape, and as you can see, you're presented with this screen: Official Secrets Act security clearance, and you've got to enter a 4-character password. Now I'm assuming this password is given to you at the end of the first game if you complete it, which obviously I didn't do. So I'm just going to have to guess, and I've got no idea obviously. So let's just put a load of A's in and see what happens. Well, it's gone into the game, so maybe you didn't need a password after all. That's a bit strange, but there you go. So this game is a flight simulator. As you can see, you're in the helicopter. So what's happened here, this is the sort of final sequence from the film. You've transported back in time in a helicopter from 1986 back to 1917, and you've got to destroy the sound weapon. Now there's loads of controls and loads of things you've got to do in this game, which were covered in the 3 pages in the instructions. But the first thing I've noticed when you go into this game, you can control the movement of the helicopter, tilt it left and right, go up and down, the normal sort of flight simulator controls. You can also control the altitude with the keys. It's the question mark and the square bracket, I think that is. They move you up and down. And there's a map in the middle of the bottom of the screen. You've got to head to begin with to this bottom left hand corner. I think I'm where the red flashing block is, and I've got to head to that little block in the bottom left hand corner. There's also, if you press M, you can also switch to a more detailed map of the sector that you're in. I don't know where I'm supposed to be on that. But the main thing I've noticed is you're supposed to be able to shoot stuff, but when I press fire, nothing happens. So I don't really know what's going on. I've played through this a few times, and I've just got no idea what's going on here. You can tilt around, you can move up and down. There's a few bits of landscape on the ground. It's reasonably good graphically. there's some people shooting at you, but I really just got no idea what's going on. Apparently you can move to different sectors and pick people up, drop them off, pick up items, refuel ammo, but honestly I've played it a few times and I've just got no idea what's going on, which is a bit of a shame because it looks pretty good and it's got the music from the movie in the background again, but yeah, I've just really got no idea. We'll switch to that other map and you can see roughly in the middle there's a little dot which I presume is me, so I guess I've got to control it and move it to the bottom sort of left hand corner of the map to try and move to where that white blob is, which is like a supply area, and also where you get the coordinates for the sound weapon. Oh, there's a person on the floor. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know what's going on really. How do I slow down? I've really got no clue. Let's try reducing altitude and see if I can land. Oh, I've crash landed. So that's the end of that. So yeah, like I say, I've played it a few times. I just don't get what's going on. It's really unclear from the instructions how the map really is supposed to work. So yeah, I'm not really impressed with this second bit, which is a shame because programming wise it seems to be pretty good, but I just can't work out what the hell you're supposed to do. And I've lost patience with it, to be honest. So there you go. That is Biggles, the adaptation of the movie. So let's get on with the review scores. So firstly, the packaging. Not impressed with the front cover or the overall presentation of it. Don't understand why they didn't use the image from the movie on the front cover instead of that terrible image and the really naff logo. Instructions wise, they're very comprehensive but hard to interpret for this second game. The first game, the Time Warp game, actually quite easy to interpret the instructions, but the instructions for the second one are so detailed and convoluted, it's just like overkill really. So I'm going to give the packaging a 5 out of 10. Presentation, pretty nice. I mean, it's pretty average. This one, there's no title screen or anything on this one, by the way. If I press fire to restart, it just restarts the game again. So the first game had a nice title screen. There was also a loading screen on the original version, but that didn't get moved over into the budget version. So yeah, overall presentation, not too bad, but nothing spectacular. I'm going to give it a 6. Graphics are pretty nice in both games. This one's got, you know, reasonably good speed of movement of the helicopter, plenty of stuff in the heads-up display and all that kind of stuff, the cockpit. And the first game had some quite nicely animated explosions. The lightning bolt was nice. The graphics for the 3 different game modes were pretty good. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for the graphics overall. Not amazing graphics, but pretty nice. And sound also pretty good. You've got pretty good tunes done by Ben Dalglish and some in-game sound effects, so nothing to complain about there. I'm going to go with a 7 for those as well. You can see lots of stuff coming up on this as it's travelling along, by the way. No idea how you destroy any of it though. Like I said, pressing fire just doesn't seem to do anything. So moving on then to the playability, and that's where it really matters of course for the game. The first game has got 2 sections that were reasonably playable and one that was pretty abysmal. Oh look, there's a biplane here now as well. Let's just try and control this a second and see what happens. Can I kill that biplane? No, not really. It's just, I don't know what's going on. You just can't shoot anything. I'll just leave it to do its thing until I die. In fact, I'm just going to reduce the altitude to kill myself off. You can see the graphics are quite nice there though. And I'm obviously moving around that map even though I'm not really doing anything. There we go, let's just kill that off. So yeah, so what I was saying about the playability, the rooftop game is really infuriating. The other 2, the sort of Green Beret style thing and the biplane flying thing, were pretty good. So 2 out of 3, not bad there. This one, I just got no idea what's going on, as I've said. Clearly if you progress a bit you can see enemies to shoot, but you can't shoot them it seems. So maybe it's because I haven't picked any ammunition up from that initial sort of area that you're supposed to go to. I've no idea, but I got bored with it pretty quickly. So I think the switching between the different game modes in the first game is quite annoying. Just unnecessary really. It'd be better for you to be able to play through one, and if you lose all your lives then so be it. I'd rather be playing through the first game mode, moving on to the second level and then to the third, rather than being flipped between them, even though that lightning bolt animation was quite nice. So all in all, it's a bit frustrating. There's definitely the potential for some good gameplay there, but it's all just a bit annoying. And even more so with this second game. So I'm going to give it a playability score of 4, and I've deliberated over that a little bit. I would say there's 2 game modes that are like maybe 5 or 6 out of 10 and 2 that are 3 out of 10, so let's average it out to 4. So that gives it an overall score of 6.1, and I don't really think it was worth the $1.99 asking price. I guess if you persevered with it, maybe it was. Perhaps I'm giving it short shrift a little bit. I was impressed with the fact that they've done a pretty good adaptation in terms of recreating scenes from the film, but it wasn't a great film, and to be honest, it's not a great game either. So yeah, not worth the $1.99 asking price for my reckoning. You might disagree, and if you do, then let me know in the comments. So thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll be back again with another one pretty soon. Bye for now.